Welcome, everyone. We are so excited that you are joining us. I am Tracy Roots, Healthy Communities Coordinator for the Bon Secours Sarah Garland Jones Center located in the heart of Richmond's East End. Today, we will be discussing healthy eating and cooking as part of the Bon Secours Richmond Congregational Health Initiative. Bon Secours Richmond work with local congregational leaders to provide their members with spiritual, social, emotional, and health support. Next, I'm going to introduce you to Amanda Bianca. She is the manager of the Parsley's Kitchen at the Sarah Garland Jones Center. She will briefly talk to you about the program at the Sarah Garland Jones Center, and she will also introduce our guests.
Welcome to Parsley's Kitchen, a learning kitchen that also serves as a commissary in the heart of the East End. Did you know that food you eat can affect your health and your risk for certain diseases? To eat healthier food, you may need to change some of your daily habits. You don't need to make huge changes to eat healthier, and you don't have to change your habits all at the same time. It's best to set small goals and change your habits a little bit at a time. Over time, small changes can make a big difference in your health. Our guests will provide healthy tips along with cooking demos that will help you make useful changes for healthy eating. They will discuss how changing your eating habits and your environment can help you eat healthier foods. Let's introduce our panelists. Founder and classically trained chef Sequoia Ross has more than 20 years of kitchen experience. After turning to plant-based eating and unable to find vegan cookie dough that was both edible and bakeable, she created her own. Favorite Cookie Company creates craft frozen cookie dough to satisfy any sweets cravings. Sequoia has also spent most of her career teaching cooking methods and healthier variations of classic recipes. She is an advocate of promoting fresh and clean eating and expanding palates. Cooking is her passion. Elaine Meredith is a registered dietitian nutritionist. She earned her Bachelor of Science in Human Nutrition, Foods, and Exercise from Virginia Tech and completed her dietetic internship through VCU Health System and the Hunter Holmes McGuire BA Medical Center. Elaine has been a community clinical dietitian within the Bon Secours Caravan since 2019. Prior to her work with the Caravan, she gained experience in community nutrition as a member of a research team. The aim of her career is to build the capacity of others to live healthier lives through their choice of food and physical activity.
Hello, my name is Sequoia Ross, also known as Chef Coco, and today we are making spanakopita. All right, well, let's begin. The first thing we're going to do is warm our pan. We have some fresh spinach. I know this looks like a lot of spinach, but as you know, this is going to cook down and we're going to have very little spinach by the end of it. We have some diced onion, some minced garlic, some fresh dill. We have some feta cheese as well as ricotta, eggs, olive oil, and a salt and pepper blend. So we're going to saute our onions and garlic first. And saute is just a fancy French term that means very little fat, very high heat. Okay? So we're going to add our onions. Yeah, you want to hear that sizzle? That means you're really cooking, I'm trying to tell you. Okay, we're going to add our garlic. Garlic is another thing that I don't measure. I think this recipe calls for 1 clove. And I feel like that's just a starting point for me. Because I love garlic, and garlic is really good for you. So we're going to get those. Once they become translucent, that means they're sweating. But we want to saute, so we want to have a little brown on them. Okay? So I'm going to add a little bit more olive oil, just a tad. Okay? We're going to let those go. With fresh herbs, you want to add them last. With dry herbs, you want to add them in the beginning because with dried herbs, you want them to rehydrate. Okay? If you add fresh herbs too quickly in the beginning of your preparation, they won't taste good, they won't look good, and you don't want that. Okay? So we're letting it go. I'm going to hit it with a little bit of our salt and pepper blend. Very nice. I don't use salt often. Especially, you've got to be really careful because feta cheese is already salty. So you don't want to oversalt. Okay, you do not want to oversalt. Okay. So we're going to add our spinach a little bit at a time. You don't want to overcrowd your pan. So a handful of spinach. You allow that to wilt, and then you add more spinach. So we're going to be working with phyllo dough. A lot of people shy away from phyllo. They're scared of it. They're like, it's too delicate. What the heck am I going to do with it? I can't do it. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. It's in your freezer section of your grocery store. Allow it to thaw in your refrigerator, and it's easy to manage. The important thing to remember is don't take phyllo too seriously. Phyllo just means 1,000 layers, okay? So it's extremely flaky dough. When we pan this up, we're not going to put phyllo at the bottom. Phyllo is not pie crust, okay? I know oftentimes if you've had baklava, yeah, that is with layers and layers of phyllo, delicious nuts. But that is a treat. That is a sometimes food. That is not an all day enjoy yourself food, okay? Not baklava. But this spanakopita, this dish, can be paired with a salad. It is savory, but you can eat it for breakfast, lunch, also dinner, okay? So we're just going to put the phyllo on the top. We're not going to have it at the bottom. Look at that. Oh, my gosh. So I only cook spinach to where it's green like this. I don't overcook it. So I will just tilt the pan so that you can see. I don't like to overcook any green vegetable. Well, any vegetable for that matter. Because then you suck all the nutrients out of it. And the whole purpose of this is to have the nutrients. So why would we take all the nutrients out? Okay. So look at that. Oh, it's so pretty. Look at that. Bright green. It's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Okay. This is where we're going to add our dill because I'm going to turn off our heat. Okay. Turn off our heat. And I'm going to remove it from the heat. You guys, move it. Put it here down low so you can see what I'm doing. That garlic smell. If you could smell the studio, I'm trying to tell you, it smells good in here. All right. I'm adding our fresh dill. And you can also find this in your grocery store. It's over by the herbs, the fresh herbs. You can use dry dill if you want, but I would do the fresh dill. Okay. So we've got our dill in there. That's looking amazing. Very yummy, very yummy. We're then going to add our feta. Okay. So traditionally, spanakopita is spinach and feta. This recipe also calls for ricotta. So it kind of put an Italian spin on it. But we're going to let them have that. We're going to do it anyway. So this is what we have. We're going to add our ricotta to it. Traditionally, you find ricotta in lasagna. But tonight, we are putting it in the spanakopita. Now, the only reason why we're adding eggs is to bind it. Okay? We're adding eggs to bind it. Now, if you've ever added eggs to a very hot dish, you know that the eggs will quickly cook. So we are going to add them very quickly. Okay? I'm going to give them a good stir there. That way when they get in there, they can immediately be incorporated. All right. Eggs. Adding it to our product. Stirring it up really quick. This is one reason why I took it off the heat, because I did not want the eggs. I didn't want this to turn into an omelet, folks, because we're not making omelets. We're making spanakopita. Okay, so got it. Look at that. This is what it's supposed to look like because it's a filling. We have our beautiful pie plate that we're going to use. I'm going to spray it just a tad. Boop. That's enough. We're going to pour our spanakopita mixture into the pie plate. Look at this. Coming together. Coming together nicely. All right. Spanakopita also is traditionally served in triangles. So this is a remix, spanakopita remix. All right. So we're putting it here. Beautiful. Look at that. I love feta cheese. That's why I reserved this to sprinkle it on the top because I want food to taste good even when it's low fat. So I trick myself by adding extra. And now, the moment we've all been waiting for, the phyllo dough. So you always want to keep it wrapped up because it can sometimes dry out. And that is no bueno, okay? So this is what it looks like. Look at all those layers. It's gorgeous, okay? What we're going to do first is we are going to take off, and you don't have to count them, but here's about 5. We're going to remove them. We're going to lay them on here. We're going to brush them. And now phyllo dough, mostly the convenience phyllo that you find in the grocery store is completely vegan. I know this dish is not vegan, but if you have cut all animal products out of your diet, you can still have phyllo. Phyllo is traditionally made with butter. That's its leavening agent. All the butter in between the layers helps it to rise, okay, and makes it flaky. We all like flaky. Remember I said don't overthink it. It's going to be beautiful. Phyllo just has a way of being beautiful no matter how you mess it up. Gonna brush it. This is olive oil, extra virgin olive oil. Don't be confused. When you go to the grocery store, get extra virgin. Don't get that other olive oil that just says olive oil. It just means it hasn't been pressed. They just put it in a bottle. Doesn't really have any good nutrients. Extra virgin is what you want. Okay. We're going to lay more phyllo on top. Like so. More olive oil. It's coming together. Don't worry, I have extra, more olive oil here. And this just helps it to brown. Keeps it hydrated. And then our last, boop, right on top. Look at that. And it only took us a few minutes to prepare this. But when it goes on your table, your dinner table, people are going to think you work really hard. So just make it look like you work really hard, you know. Have some flour on your face, you know, sweat, look like you're about to faint. You know, present it like that. And then this is what it looks like, the finished product, when you pull it out of the oven. Golden brown, look at that, beautiful, gorgeous. And then when you plate it, make sure you plate it with a beautifully full salad. Okay, spanakopita. Enjoy.
Okay, so today's nutrition talk is about building a healthy plate, which is perfect for this spanakopita and this salad that includes vegetables as well as fruit. So the first part of building your plate is adding on the veggies. So these are good for our body and good for our health. They are usually lower in calories, but packed with nutrients. So they have things like vitamins and minerals and fiber that help our bodies to run more smoothly. The more color that you add, the more variety of micronutrients that you're going to get from them. So maybe a first step to adding vegetables to your plate is figuring out which ways you enjoy them. Maybe you like them cooked or prepared a certain way, but you want to make sure that you include them on your plate. Next is adding fruit. They are also a source of vitamins and minerals and fiber. Maybe it's uncommon to have fruit at your meal, but you can be a new trendsetter or start a new tradition. You could do things like adding mandarins or the cuties on the side of your plate, or having sliced apples, or even opting for canned peaches for your dessert. Fresh fruit, fruit that's canned in 100% juice, and frozen fruit are all healthful options for adding fruit. Next is the protein. And when you pick out your protein, you want to choose the leaner options. So those are things like turkey, chicken, fish, and different types of seafood. That's it for meat, but there are also protein in eggs, nuts, seeds, nut butters, tofu. One of the things that you want to avoid when picking out your protein is red meat. So limiting your red meat, things like beef or pork or lamb, or the fatty cuts of meat. The lean cuts of meat usually have the word loin or round in them. Then we have the grains or starches, sometimes known as carbohydrates. And you want to opt for the whole grain or the whole wheat options of these. This is because when we choose the whole grain or the whole wheat, we're going to be getting in more fiber, which is helpful for controlling blood sugar as well as cholesterol, and it keeps you regular. This could be something as switching over to a brown rice, or switching over to whole wheat pasta, whole wheat bread. It can even include things like whole wheat waffles. In this category, I also include potatoes and corn, because those foods have more starch or carbohydrate in them than anything else. Next is seasoning with less sodium. So that can be mainly limiting the salt that you add onto your food, but it could also mean finding a good blend of seasonings that you like. It could also be something like cooking your food with garlic or onions and peppers to give them flavors without adding in the extra salt. If you are going to use canned vegetables when you add your vegetables, you should rinse them off before you cook them. And lastly is limiting the fat. So when you are cooking, choosing to roast your food or bake it, grill it, steam it, or saute it. You can also use cooking sprays if you need to get your pan oiled, or choose for a healthier option of olive oil. And then lastly, avoiding the fried. That is it for this Building a Healthy Plate video. Thank you.